Yo, it's Saman, your guest editor for the 2020 music edition of Palestine in America. Here to tell you a little bit about this episode. It started with a tweet, but really it started before the tweet. I think a lot of us have seen this image of this like green car that's kind of like jacked up with these huge rims, and then like the text on the side of it says "Free Palestine" in like this big military font. And a lot of us loved that car, like loved whenever that image would pop up online on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And we would, whenever it would pop up, we'll tag our friends in the comments, say, look, our ride is here, and it was always really like nice. Like, we didn't know, who was driving that car, but we knew that there was someone out there who was as loud and as proud as we were. And I think it also definitely became like a personality thing. Like, we all have that one friend who like the first thing you're going to know about them if you meet them is that they're Palestinian. And that's kind of like what that car represented to a lot of people, is like that, loudness. And I think we needed that kind of symbol because so often, like in the news or in movies or whatever, like our voices are silenced. And so I think like when we see someone who's that loud and proud, like we're kind of drawn to it. So when, unfortunately after the police murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor kind of happened in close proximity on the timeline to each other, I saw there was a picture of a different car, which I recognize as being like very distinctly a Houston style customization. We have like a special like genre of car customization in Houston called slabs. And so I'm gonna maybe get some of this wrong because I'm not the slab expert, but like some of like the key characteristics of a slab would be like big like elbow spoke rims that poke out, and as the years have gone on, they poke out like farther and farther and farther. Your trunk has to have some kind of like neon display, that like it's like a message. It's the same thing as the Free Palestine cards. Like what are you going to say that defines you? And a lot of times, like in the traditional style, there will be like a fifth wheel hanging out on the trunk. So and of course you have to have a sound system in it. So that's like obviously part of it. And a lot of where this culture comes from, if you can imagine, is like if you're driving through Houston, like probably on the south side is where this originated. If you're driving through Houston, and that like you could, on a random day, you could see like a line of slabs, a slab line. And I think the idea with it was, there's like a competition element to it. There's like a camaraderie where if you're in a slab line, someone who's in front of you can like pull over and stop and make you stop and pop their trunk on you, and whatever that, they might be like dunking on you with whatever their trunk says. And so I saw online, this was like around end of May, early June 2020, and I saw someone whose their neon in their trunk said Black Lives Matter. I was like, oh, that's a really cool way to flip this like kind of cultural thing and like make it like have this like broader like social justice message. And it reminded me a lot of the Free Palestine car. I was like, oh wow, someone, so I'm assuming a Black person is trying to do communicate something similar for this issue, whereas this other car was trying to communicate something for Palestinian liberation. And so I went back, looked up, found the picture of the Free Palestine car, I put the pictures side by side in a tweet, and I just made it say the two horsemen of the revolution. And I was like, generally, I'm not like a super confident tweeter. Like, I'll still put my tweets out there. I don't know why. I feel like I have to do that all the time. But I felt like decently good about this one. I was like, okay, this is like, this could get like 50 retweets or something, and I'll be happy. I'll go to sleep happy. And it like did a lot more than that. So it did like, I think currently it has like 10,000 retweets and like 40,000 likes, something like that. People really responded to this idea that like Palestinian liberation and Black liberation are like causes like to champion, and the idea of them being tied together is, I think, also really meaningful for a lot of people, especially knowing like how down Angela Davis was and is, and also knowing like Nelson Mandela saying our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians, um, and knowing that like that some of like the leading Palestinian justice groups have written statements in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and vice versa. So I think there was a lot of reasons that it resonated, and it just really took off. And when Nader asked me to be the guest editor of this issue, one of the things that I thought of was, okay, let me see if I can track down the owners of these two cars, and get them to meet each other. Obviously, if there wasn't a pandemic going on, I would have loved to try and like get them to meet in person somehow. But given the situation, the person who had the Black Lives Matter car is this dude named David, and it was easy to find him because one of his friends tagged him in the replies to my tweet. So I was like, okay, check, got that person down. And I basically reached out to him and said, hey man, like if I can track down the person who owns this other car, would you be down to like meet them online, like for this magazine? Could be a cool conversation. And he, to his credit, like he was like super down and like immediately hit me with like Free Palestine, like he's down for the cause. So I was like, okay, wow, this is awesome. And then so I did like some deep Googling, deep like Twitter searching, and found some tweet from some woman, I can't remember her name now, like Laura or Ashley or something, saying like, I hope the guy who used to drive that green Free Palestine car is doing well today. Something like that, like thinking about the guy who, something to that effect of like, she missed it. But she also in the tweet said like the guy who used to drive that car through Edmonton. I was like, oh, Edmonton, Canada, okay. I assumed it was Florida because the car has like a lot of like hallmarks of Florida's like donk culture. That's their car customization culture. It's called donks, which would be like the huge rims, jacked up cars, whatever. So now I'm looking for like Google searching for like Edmonton Free Palestine car, hoping that something pops up. And sure enough, I found a custom car shop in Edmonton called Car Trends, and they had a picture of the car. Now, I couldn't fully assume that there was a direct connection. They could just be custom car shop trying to get some engagement online. They love that picture of the car, so they post it, So I was just trying to do my due diligence and DM them and said, hey, like, here's what I'm doing, story I'm working on. Like, is this y'all's car? Do you know who it belongs to? And they're like, oh yeah, this is our car. And I was like, oh wow, okay. So I finally found the person after years and years of loving seeing this car online. Finally found the person. His name is Eamon. He owns Car Trends, which is a custom car shop in Edmonton. And I got them both to meet on Zoom, which was really cool. And people really reacted to it when we posted about it online for the release of the magazine. So yeah, so I want to just make sure I had given you all that little preface before you jump into this conversation between these two dudes who love cars and are down for each other's causes. And it's just sweet like I barely had to talk. I barely had to ask any questions because they were like so engaged with each other in conversation. It was great. It was awesome. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Let's jump into it. I'm Samana Shrawi. I'm the guest editor of Palestine in America 2020 Music Edition. I'm here. You're here. Let's do this. Maybe if you could talk a little bit about how you, like, maybe when you were younger, how you were kind of like introduced to the car culture in Houston. Like, did you grow up here? What's kind of your background of that?
I'll break it down for you. So first of all, I was born in Houston, Texas. And a lot of my family, they come from the Scenic-Wood, Homestead area. And I was born here, but from a young age, I moved to Maryland. And just me and my mom, and my mom and sister. So we were cut off from a lot of, everything Houston, right? So every summer I would come down to Houston and visit. Every single summer. I never did a summer in Maryland. So when I was down here, everything was obviously Houston music, the cars, everything. So every time I come back to Maryland, it's basically like I'm that boy from Texas, So I'm jamming nothing but Paul Wall, Slim Thug. I'm getting roasted up in school in Maryland, but I'm jamming Paul Wall and everybody's jamming Wayne. Jay-Z's the best rapper alive, and I'm turning on to Slim Thug. So I'm jamming Swisher House. My cousin used to rap with Swisher House, so I was just super into Houston music, just deep into it. And, all they talk about is the slab, the swangers, candy paint, all that. So it was just embedded in me since a preteen. So I've always just been connected with it. So when I got the chance to do it myself, that's what I did.
So I have two questions for that. Like when Houston was kind of having like its moment in the spotlight, like the mid 2000s or whatever, like about how old were you when that was happening?
All right, that's crazy you asked that because I'm real good with so eighth grade must have been for me 2004, and I think Slim Thug. I want to say it was either Slim Thug or Paul Wall who was buzzing basically on the nation. I don't know if they dropped their debut yet, but ninth grade is when Paul Wall dropped his for sure. Slim Thug had dropped it around, and then Mike Jones right after. So I would say between 8th grade and 10th grade, Chameleonaire and all that stuff. Between the 8th and 10th grade, and I was in Maryland, is when Houston music was popping off. I'm talking about, everybody I was around in Maryland knew what Houston was. But when I was up there, it was a lot of criticism. Like, Houston dudes only talk about cars and lean. Like, that was the whole, nobody wanted to come to Houston. When I say, I just came from Houston, they used to be like, oh, you was riding horses? You was and it's funny because we do ride horses.
We do.
So it's like, yeah, man, it was definitely a weird thing to be from Houston, living in Maryland. Houston's blowing up, and I'm in an area where it's kind of like, it's kind of Wayne and Jay-Z. But yeah, I say 8th grade and 10th grade was when it was going crazy.
Yo, Eamon just popped in, so I'm going to let him in.
Amen.
Let's see. All right, he's coming.
Nice. I like this. Okay, now we're good. Okay, go ahead, brother. Ask me whatever you want to ask.
Amazing. Oh, wait, where'd you go?
Hold on. Sorry, we're back. My phone is in low power mode. Sorry, I had a long day working, man.
Okay. All right. Great. So, I thought it would be cool if y'all could talk about like the specs on both of the vehicles, like the customizations. I know you already gave me a little bit of a rundown, Eamon, but maybe David, if you wanted to start first. David, like, how did the customization process go, and Eamon?
All right. Yeah, so it's a slab, so it's not a slab unless it's got the swingers on it. So first thing I did was, save up, got the rims, got the Vogue tires to go with it. So at first I was just straight spokes, just naked car, just spokes, which was cool for me. So second thing, you gotta have the bang in the trunk. So I went and got a 215s, like a 6,000 watt amp, I think. I got all that at one time, changed all the interior and whatnot. What did I do after that? Then I went and got some floor mats. My floor are cut with plexiglass that light up.
Nice.
on the front floor mats, damn, I can't, what the hell? It says Time Machine. Yep. And then the back mats are cassette tapes, kind of like those great cassette tapes from like the 90s in the Houston music.
Wow. You said the mats?
Yeah, the back,
Wow.
yeah, the backseat mats glow purple great cassette tapes. The front, the purple Buick emblem with the Time Machine in it. And then what else did I do? Then right after that is when I got the trunk. Yep. So I got the bottom lid. It's plexiglass. Push the 215s in the back, and I have it says "This My Time Machine" from a Big Crit song, because he was a big influence. Even the color was a Crit influence, being that purple. That Buick emblems on the side. What else? Buick emblem covering the front, and then I got the Black Lives Matter and knee right here.
Nice. That's dope.
Yeah.
And dude, Eamon, talk to us about, I mean, your car, but also the rims.
Yeah, this car it muted into a different machine over time.
Yeah.
It used to be a lowrider actually when I bought it. It had
Mhm.
hydraulics, and it needed a lot of work. It needed paint and all that. So then I got it painted. Then it had 13-inch 100 spokes on it at first, and then with the hydros and everything. And then I went up to a 22-inch wire wheel, and then 24s, and then 26s. I had 26-inch blades on it at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a couple pictures of that. And then from there, it just started getting bigger. I got 28s, then it jumped to 30s, and now we're at 32-inch rims, and that's where I started modifying the car. Extreme, right? So so it's on 32s, and it has a full custom 10-inch lift with air suspension, so I can bring it down too as well. It doesn't tuck right in, but it goes right over the wheel wells. Like, we cut the wheel wells out, and we made the car sit right over that wheel, where it's just a little bit of gap just so you could roll it, right? So yeah, a lot of work into that. And then it got painted. We got the Lambo doors, the tint, the audio in it now. It has a 24-inch B2 audio subwoofer in the back. It has about 6,000 watts right just to one sub, and then I got about another 2,000 to my speakers in the front. And train horn. Pretty much everything has been done to the car. The next step is the interior. We're gonna step that up now. We're gonna do like a two-tone interior or something, do some stitching in the headrest, stuff like that. But yeah, it's been through a lot, man. And it never ends, right?
Nah, it doesn't, man. My homeboy told me the slabs is like a money trash can, dude. You just
That's what it is. Do people ask you how much? How much you put into this? They ask me. I tell them I just don't keep track anymore. I just whatever it needs.
I would be embarrassed to tell them. Like, I don't even want to tell them.
Yeah.
It's money all the time. There's no point in
I know. There's no budget.
Nah, no budget. It's a lifetime thing. As long as you have the car, you got the bill.
Exactly. You just keep throwing at it, right? Exactly.
It's worth it.
Oh yeah. You gotta love it, right? You gotta love what you do.
Thanks.
That's cool. No, I like the car, bro. That's a Buick, right? The Buick.
Yeah. The Buick Park Avenue. My first car was a LeSabre, and I knew about the LeSabre. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a Park Avenue. So that's my.
And there's only two Cadillacs out here in our province with swangers. We did a set. We have a couple sets. Actually, here's some Texas for you here.
Oh.
We got some 22s and 17 Super Pokes.
Hey.
Man, you know, I didn't know that they had slabs in Canada until the dude that sold me mine, Texas Wild Wheel Albert.
Oh yeah.
Pictures of somebody in Canada. I was like, dude, Texas dude in Canada. That's crazy.
Yeah. We got a few sets here, and out east there is in Montreal, Toronto. There's a little bit, right?
Are people used to it? Like, is it?
Here you're gonna get two mixed feelings with these type of wheels. Some people hate them, right? And some people just think they're cool, they're nice, right? So, yeah. But it's a culture thing, right?
Yeah, and down here in Houston, it's like, I feel like in Houston, we've gotten so long with it. I mean, like,
Oh
super
yeah.
long pokes,
Oh.
man. The cops really bad. But I feel
Do they
like
do they actually ticket you for that?
now see, that's the thing. Mine, it pokes, but it doesn't poke to where I'm getting ticketed. The cops don't mess
Yeah,
with
yeah.
but like there is a length to where they're gonna ticket you. And I've heard some of my homeboys who have like the longest you got, they said they will ticket you up to like thousands of dollars.
Oh wow, that's like the gorilla pokes.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I got gorillas, but it's past that now. Like this is
Oh,
like,
they have like giraffe or whatever
yeah,
the hell. They're going way out.
dude, they come out with new ones. I feel like every other season it gets longer. And I feel like it's an initiative from law enforcement to like take it out the street. The guy that did my trunk, his is like stupid long. The dude did
That's
like
crazy.
it's crazy, man. But you know, I respect it, dude. I love it.
Oh no, you gotta. It's different. It's a different style, right? It's a
Yeah,
totally different style.
I respect anybody that does anything to modify their vehicle. I don't care what it is. If it's like
Exactly.
a dunk, a truck, I don't care what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I salute, man.
That's how it should be, right?
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. 100%.
Eamon was saying he was telling me he had this whole ordeal with the police up in Canada.
Oh
giving
yeah.
him shit about the car.
Oh,
they didn't explicitly say it was because it said Free Palestine, but I think we can kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, the car I had that car for a while now, and maybe about close to 12 years now.
Mhm.
And when I built it, we built it because of the business. I was starting my business with automotive stuff, customizing. We do mainly rims and tires and everything else, right? That's our bigger thing. The bigger thing with us is the rims and tires. So when I built a car, I didn't have anything in mind about Palestine or anything like that. You know, I just wanted to paint it green and whatnot. And then I had it for a while, and then there was a time where the situation in Gaza, there were a lot of rallies going on here and all over the world when Gaza was being hit pretty bad. Sorry?
Was this like 2014?
Yeah, around that time. Yeah,
Okay.
around that I think that time. Yeah, that's when I had it. And we said, you know what? Let's bring it to the parade, the rally, you know, the car itself, and let's throw on a Free Palestine, because the car turns a lot of heads, right?
Yeah, already.
So
Yeah.
instead of turning the heads into just, oh, nice car, you get both. You know, you get the awareness at the same time. Free Palestine. People start to question, right? And you should see, man, the people reaction. You get a lot of people that love it and honk,
Mhm.
and then some people question, oh, that's, you know, they start asking, oh, that's pretty gutsy to do.
Right.
I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Because they don't understand the situation, right?
Yeah.
So it created a lot of dialogue. Like the car was just a dialogue piece wherever it went, and people always, you've seen it online and stuff like that. And then after that, I had an incident, a run-in with the police.
Oh shit.
Okay, but this time, at that time, that's when everything faded off, and the decal, I took it off because I'm like, you know what, it's for business purposes. I don't want to get too much into that part of it. We did it at the moment, right?
Mhm.
Maybe in the future we'll keep something on there or airbrush it on there. That's my plan, to do a theme, you know, eventually. So anyways, I got stopped. This is after all this, like weeks after. And then I was basically, the way I was stopped wasn't a normal procedure. I was in a parking lot of a gas station, and the police officer kind of nosed up and stopped in the middle of the road as I was going to exit. Okay. And then he kind of put his lights on. I pulled out my camera. I said, oh, what's going on? Right. He stopped me, and 45 minutes being detained, waiting. Yeah. He was on the phone with somebody, and he kept looking at all the little things on the vehicle. What's this? This is illegal. You can't have bumper height this high. Mud flap tickets, colored lenses. Just really petty stuff, you know. And I got upset, and I started recording, and I wasn't mad at them or anything, but I was questioning them, and they didn't like that. I kept questioning them, why are you guys doing this? What's the main reason why you pulled me over? He wouldn't answer.
Wow.
Okay. It was like I felt like after all that, we're guessing it could be from the car being seen out there, and maybe
Yeah.
people, it could have been a complaint. Maybe it's something that's too much for people to see. I don't know. I have a feeling it was somebody actually mentioned to me it could be somebody sent a mandate or something to the police or complaint saying this vehicle is, you know, for whatever reason to stop it, or I don't know. So anyways, after that, he issued me about 6 violations.
Wow.
Okay. And a notice of direction. It was a paper basically saying you have this much time to remove certain conditions on the car. Okay. Tinted windows and all this stuff, which most cars on the road have, right? And the car is unique. It stands out. I understand, but it's a show car. It's for a business. And anyways, I went and changed everything because the car was deemed unsafe. They put under the Traffic Safety Act, the vehicle's unsafe until you fix these things. Tinted windows and amber reflectors, like petty stuff. Like, how does that even consider unsafe? So anyways, to make a long story short, I can go more detail, but I just want to kind of get to the point. I did what they told me to do, and they actually pulled up in front of my house, an unmarked vehicle with a traffic inspector, like the guys that do DOTs on semi trucks and all that. So they came by force on my driveway, and I told them, "What are you guys doing here? I mean, this is my house." And he goes, "Oh no, you work out of your house." I'm like, "No, right now I'm not working." And he basically distracted me as the inspector started looking at my car. It was on the driveway, and he took the VIN number off the vehicle, and he looked underneath it real quick, and he goes, "Our job is done." And it was a big confrontation back and forth. We were trying to like tell him what kind of harassment is this, right? You guys already harassed me before. Now you're coming to my house. It's too much. So anyways, after that, a week later, I get a paper from the Alberta government, transportation. The vehicle is deemed unsafe and you can't drive it on the road until you go through a salvage inspection. So that required me to bring my car to factory specifications, which is nearly not worth the time to do that after all that work. So I felt like it was a hit on my business. It was a hit on, who knows, maybe there's some profiling for sure. You know what I mean? And it happens here, you know, when you have something nice, if you're being successful, you're successful in something, or you do something different, people tend to kind of, you know, hate on you a lot, right? So anyways, I didn't give up. So I went to a lawyer and they threw out half the tickets. The other part of it was a civil matter, which I didn't want to get into with the police. I said, you know what, this is not even worth it. This is something petty. So we actually rebuilt the car.
Okay.
And we rebuilt the car. It's the same thing. It's a different color. And we built it to like as much as we can to their protocol, so that way we don't get bothered, right? No tint and all this stuff, right? So anyways, we have now been driving it on the road for about 3-4 years after that, because it was parked for a couple of years till we did everything, changed everything. So now she's back on the road, and she's known as the Free Palestine car. So everybody knows it now, right? So
people still recognize it, I'm sure.
Yeah, they still recognize it, right? So maybe one day we'll do a nice theme on it, you know, to bring it back alive. It's just unfortunately out here, when you speak the truth or you come out different like that, you know, a lot of eyes are on you, and who knows, you know, what the outcome is after that, right? So it's just part of having something nice, you know, and it's just, there's a lot of profiling too. But after that, to tell you the truth, brother, I never got bugged once. I've been driving the car. Everything's been good. So, and now we have our shop here in Edmonton, and we're, alhamdulillah, successful with that and been running for a while now. So, yeah.
Wow, man. It sounds like, I guess, I do actually have a list of questions for you, but speaking like specifically to what you mentioned, like, I'm assuming you probably know other people who do like body work on cars, like around Edmonton.
Yeah. Like,
is this something that other people have experienced?
Well, that's a good question, because I've talked to a lot of people, and I'm not trying to be like, you know, profiling per race or skin color, but a lot of people out here with those cars too are their background, they're white, right? And I asked them, I know them, they're customers of mine. I'm like, you guys get bugged for your car or this and that? And they're like, no, they don't get harassed. So I knew I was being harassed, and when those videos went viral, like they actually went viral, like I couldn't believe it. I posted it, venting, you know, about police harassment, profiling because of a culture, of a car culture or a specific type of vehicle. You know, you're being targeted, right? So a lot of people agreed with me that they're harassing you, and they actually were prior to that. There was incidences before where every time they see the car, it was a certain group of officers, not all of them, and they would always just want to pull me over and just give me something, just citations after citation. I got sick of it, right? Because I'm like, what is this? I mean, I'm not. We're legitimate. We have a business. We pay taxes, and we do all this, and we're getting harassed like someone on the streets, you know, a criminal or something, right? So I felt kind of violated about that, and I wasn't happy, right? So, but I never gave up. You know, it actually helped improve my business.
I can imagine. Yeah.
The video going viral brought a lot of attention to my business. So it was a blessing in disguise too. So it was something that worked out, and alhamdulillah, now everything is good, you know, and we do it for the love of the culture, the cars, and we're into it. You have to have a passion for it, right? So if you don't, then you'll give up. Some people told me, you know, sell the car, that's it, it's too much, it's too loud. I'm like, why are you afraid to show even the free Palestine, right? I'm like, why are people afraid to say that? Like, I'm gonna say it freely, right? Because I've experienced it in my country. I lived there for a year, and I experienced what the people are going through there personally. So I know, right? So, I mean, being oppressed is not an easy thing. So yeah, I mean, we tried to incorporate basically what we love to do into the culture, you know, into what's going on overseas. So it helped out.
Yeah, I always think, you know, like I remember when I probably first saw a picture of your car online, maybe around.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how did you come across that?
It probably was around like the time when you were first putting it out in the streets. Like someone posted a picture, and basically, like the first time I was made aware of it was someone tagged me on Facebook and was like,
"Oh, nice,
like, yo, Saman, like your ride is here." Because I go hard too. I don't have a car to go hard like that, but in my own way.
Appreciate that, yeah.
And so I loved it so much from the first moment I saw it.
Nice.
And I never knew much about it, but just like occasionally over the years, either the same picture or other pictures of your car would just kind of pop up on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And like every time I saw it, it just would make me feel a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like,
that's cool.
So is there a lot of like this pushback against, you know, free Palestine in like around where you are?
Well, anything that when you speak the truth or when you speak something real, you're gonna get knocked. You're gonna have people that hate, and people are gonna start questioning. You're gonna start people talking, running their mouth, and spreading fire and talking bad about it, right? So unfortunately, there is some stuff here. There is a lot of racism here and profiling, especially with the vehicle you have. You know, people profile you, right? They label you as something, right? It's too bad because a lot of people are ignorant. They don't know that the car culture, you know, it's a big thing. It's like a sport. It's like a sport for us, right?
Hobby.
It's a passion. It's a hobby. You gotta love doing it. So if some people don't know that, they think, oh, this guy has flashy rims. He's a drug dealer. Oh, this guy's a criminal. Like, not all of them are like that, man. You know what I mean? Like,
not at
most
all.
guys love this stuff, right? Because they like doing it.
Yeah, dude. You can have a 9 to 5 and have the flashiest car
on the
street, all
Yeah.
legal. That's
Yeah.
literally like I'm a teacher. I teach 9th grade world geography. You know what I mean?
Oh, nice.
Like I my students about Palestine. You know what I mean? So like
That's
it's this
good.
whole week or so lesson that I give them on that. So and they know my car. I pulled up to school like I don't know.
That's sick.
Pop the trunk, kids going crazy. They love it. You know what I mean? So and I got homeboys that do all types of things that got slabs. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I know plenty of dudes that get into other stuff that got the slab, but then I know
Of
so many.
course. You're gonna. That's part of it, right? You're
It's
gonna
like
get a mix of
else.
everybody.
Exactly. Like it is what it is. I'm
Exactly.
in my thing. So you got, like I said, you still gotta respect it, and you can't profile. I mean,
No.
I've 1000%. Before I even had those rims, I was profiled when I just had just plain old 22s.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is one of the things you got to work around. I've been pulled over in my slab probably about 4 years. I've had the car for longer than that, but I'll say about in the last 5 or so years, I've probably been pulled over about 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't a lot at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one. Come with it. Everybody knows in Houston, if you're gonna hop in the slab, you need to have your stuff together. You know what I mean?
You got to keep it legit so you don't get hit, right? And yeah, no, that's true. And when they find you that you're legit and you're good, they get mad, right? They're like, can't do nothing to this.
Let me say something. Super Bowl weekend was probably the most lit weekend for me to have my slab. Like, we riding around, me and my friends. It's like me, my homeboy, his sister, and this other chick. We're just riding. We're in Midtown. And I think my tags had just went outdated. Because, like I said, I barely drive the car. So, tags just went outdated. Still riding like fuck. And so, club, I can't remember what the club was, Social Junkie or Social something. And so I pull up, and the cops flash me because obviously I'm noticeable. Everybody's outside the club. Everybody's on the outdoor patio. Everybody's on the sidewalk. Everybody can see me getting pulled over. And so cop comes to the car. He's just like, yeah, you already know what it is. Like, you got any drugs up in here? You got something in here? And me and my friend, we laughing because we like, dude, I mean, all right. Like, no, we don't have nothing. I had my gun, all right? So we took my gun, took it to his truck, I guess, ran the numbers, and he told me to pop the trunk. Now, really, looking back right now, there's no reason why I had to pop the trunk. Now I think about that.
But you wanted to.
Oh, man, I almost lit up when he said it. Like,
it's like, okay.
So my trunk, I have a switch to turn the lights on and off in the trunk and actual thing. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna take a second for me to open it. So I hit this light and you and it's like face glowing purple. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy.
You should have told him you should have told him this is my drug.
Hey.
He was definitely embarrassed. It was like the cops started to surround the trunk. It was only 2 cops that were there, but since everybody it was more cops, so other cops started coming. They're just looking at it. And he's like, yeah, close the trunk.
We get it. We get it.
No problem, dude.
That's funny. Yeah, you're gonna always run into these situations, and then but you got to keep doing it, right? Some people give up. Some people are like, oh, that's too flashy, too much heat on the car. People are gonna. If you're legit and you're good, man, don't worry. Show your shit. Do your thing, right? That's what I believe.
We all grown, dude. Like, and
exactly.
I used to be in the Navy, and I remember I was working outside, and this other sailor, I didn't know him because I was working on a different building, and he was just kind of like just talking so crazy about cars. He was like, "Why do y'all have sound system in your car so loud? Why do y'all rims?" Like, he just kept asking these like gaslighting questions. You know what I mean? And I wasn't really into it because I already knew where he was trying to go with it. But since then, it just seems like I always catch that energy of like, why? And it's just like, dude, if you don't get it, you don't get it.
Yeah, we get that a lot up here too, man. Like, why?
I up there too. Man.
Yeah, when they ask me that, when they go, why do you do this? I'm like, I look at them, I'm like, because I can. That's all I say.
And the message so real. And you actually bolder than me, because for me it's like I just got a slab. When I pop my trunk, you see the message, but you got it right then and there.
Oh
So
yeah, buddy. That was like, we did it in military font too, so it was like serious. You should have seen the people's faces. Oh my! Like, I was like, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna get shot, but that's okay.
You gonna put your cause right there, so you can't even run from it. Yeah, that's
Yeah, man. You should have seen the questions, man. Like, wow. They're like, wow, that's pretty gutsy of you to do that. And then I questioned them, like, why? You know?
damn. It's just funny to see people's reactions, dude.
Oh
To like,
my God.
this is real shit out here. Black Lives Matter should not scare you, dude. You should know this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's knowledge, right?
You can politicize it, but when we look at it from like a human rights aspect, dude, just like,
Of course.
human, dude, this is real. You know what I mean?
This is what's going on. This is what it is. Yeah.
Definitely got to show us. You definitely got to respect it. Like, if you don't understand it, at least respect it. I see things all the time where I don't understand why somebody would want this, but I respect it because it's theirs. You understand?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
Is.
definitely. Yeah, no, I hear you, man. But there's only like this small group of us that understand eye to eye about the card game, right? We can relate to it, right? But then the outsiders, you know, like, it's just all ignorance at the end of the day. A lot of people that don't know about this, sometimes when they see the car, it turns their heads like, oh, that's cool. And they start asking. They've never seen anything like it. And then you start telling them about it. Some people actually respect it after, right?
Mm.
So you got to just give the right knowledge to the people, tell them what it's about, right? And then start to understand. And then you're going to have the people that hate no matter what. That's just a category, no matter what.
Nah, you definitely right. Because, like I was telling, is it Saman?
Ayman, yeah.
Saman.
Saman Ayman. So,
yeah.
I lived in Maryland. I mean, not when I lived in Maryland. I used to live in Maryland, so I have a lot of, like, friends on social media from Maryland. Never seen these type of rims in their life. You know what I mean? Because this is really a Houston thing where you might see Indiana, but this is really a Houston, Texas thing. So when I come on social media with it, it'd be my friends on, like, you know, from Maryland looking like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? But over the years, now I post it and everybody's putting the flame emojis like.
Yeah, they're starting to like it, yeah.
You don't understand it. I mean, I've literally had women look in my car from a picture and be like, what the hell? Until they see it in person. And then it's just kind of like, oh, shit, okay. Like, you can't hate on it, man. I mean,
honestly,
it's like
when I first saw them, I liked them. There were certain cars that I liked on with those rims, right? It looked good. And it's the way you fit them on there too, right? To get them right where you want. And the car has to sit right too. But when I brought them up here, man, you should see the people when they walk in the store, the shop, and they see them. Like, what the hell? It's like, can't you, like, you'll trip people on the sidewalk with those things, right? Just like, you know, they're like wondering, what are these for, right? They don't know what it is, right? But they look, you have to have Vogues on them. That's a must, and that's it. Like, it's just one way of doing it. It's like a wire wheel, a 100-spoke 13 on a white wall. If you don't have a white wall, forget it. It's not.
Yeah, and see, that's it. Like, everybody can customize their stuff, but there are rules, and that is the rule. If you don't have bows on your swings, dude, I don't even know where your head was at. Like, I don't even. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
Just gotta hang in your trunk, and your car has to be right. You can't be breaking down on the internet, stuff like that.
Of course, 100%, man. No, that's cool. No, I like the style, and we're actually gonna be building one because we have a set for it. We're gonna be building a nice one out here, and it looks good, man. I like it. It's a totally different, like, group category. You have lowriders, you got the donk scene, you got the muscle cars, you got the imports, now this, right? The slab, totally unique. And it's just your expression of who you are, what you love, right? You just put everything into it. The music, especially the music, right? Yeah. The sound system,
That's what definitely comes into play, man. Because, like, when the trunk, it's like, you know, a lot of dudes I know, it's like, you know, they got something about their neighborhood or RIP somebody, or, you know, just something, you know, just something to brag about, talk shit about. But they know that I'm super chill. Like, I'm not even that. It's like I had to put up some real shit up in there. You know what I mean? I had to put something that was just like real to me. You know?
No, that's the first one I've seen. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
want
a
to just
good one.
turn people's head and like really be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That's I definitely got that attention with the trunk, man. That's why I noticed. I feel like I've seen yours on social media when it said
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
To me, it's so real because it's like, dude, this is a real situation. But you're
Yeah.
putting in culture where it's really just about, you know, flashiness and customization. But you really put that together with like a real.
Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, we did it because, you know, there was a time where our country was being, it was a bad time, like in the Gaza Strip. It was being bombed and hit like really bad. And we decided, you know what, the car turns heads, right? We're like, let's let the car turn heads at the same time, send a message. Because no matter what, people are going to look at the car. And then bang, they read it. And then they start asking, what is this, right? So it did its job, right? So it's something unique that we're doing. It's totally different because we're incorporating something that's happening within our cultures and putting it into something that we like. So that is kind of why the cars are unique in a sense, right? Like you said. So
Yeah, that's just real quick. So as far as what's happening in Gaza, is that still happening? Like as far as like the occupying, you know?
I personally, I was there recently, and the Gaza area is completely separate from the West Bank. Okay, Gaza, it's like they have their own government, own system. The Palestinians. That's why Israel is really on them. If anything happens, they attack them, and it's a very closed off part of the region, very densely populated, and there's no situations. It's not like what you see. It's not every day. It's usually quiet most of the time, but then sometimes there's something that happens, you know, a missile or a hit or a killing or something, kidnapping or something happens, and then when that happens, then they send out the army, right? And they start bombing, right? So it's not an everyday thing, but their situation is bad because they're closed off from everything.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, you know, all those people in a very tight area, and then they're flying F-16s bombing them, right? You don't know where that's coming from. You can't run even, right? So, yeah.
So, I'm asking you this just to get like even better context because, you know, we have lessons and things and whatnot, but I like to hear from somebody that, you know, you just said you came from over there. So like, as far as West Bank, would you consider occupied by Israel?
Yeah, I personally, we do have a home there and we have land there and it is occupied, yes. They have more freedom to travel within their towns and whatnot, but not all the time. They'll close. Like, for example, my town, you drive in, it's called Hebron City. There's only one road entrance, all right, to get in. And it's basically a army barricade. And there's soldiers standing in jeeps all the time. And if anything happens, they will close that gate. So the whole city, you can't leave that city. Okay?
Talking about the Israeli army, right?
The Israeli army, yeah. So every region is the way they design, the way they're occupying is they have full control. If something happens, they can shut down all the cities, all the entrances and everything, and then they could do what they want, right? So yes, it is 100% occupied. There are Israeli settlers living in the West Bank, in between.
I heard that was probably too, because it's like you enclose us in this area, but then y'all also have picks on, you know, where you want to live and do business and whatnot within this area.
So imagine you're in a city, and on separate hills and mountains, there's pockets of Israeli settlements, and they're all like walled up and gated and secured. So when you go in, you have to have the right the IDs and all that, have to be Israeli citizens, and there's gates to get in. So and they usually build on the hills for security. So they're taking all this land within our area, like the West Bank, which is not considered the Israeli side. So they're slowly, every year, they take more and more land. They're annexing more and more land, right? So definitely 100% occupied.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm definitely got to hear that from you, so I could definitely tell my students, you know, that I actually, you know, there's land over there. Because, you know, I give my students a lot of resources. You know, I show them the picture of, you know, how much and Palestinians had over the decade, smaller and smaller and smaller. And, you know, just something interesting is like on YouTube, there's this video where these Israelis and these Palestinians are having a discussion, and they're basically like arguing each other's side and whatnot. So I show them to my students every class period, every time this lesson comes up. And then I basically give them a couple questions. And one of the questions is, you know, loosely saying like, who do you agree with? You know, the Palestinians and every single student says Palestinians.
Yeah, common sense, right?
All students see the as clear as day. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Clear as situation. I don't give them any kind of. I step back.
That's good. That's good.
It's so important that you do that, man.
Yeah. And then the kids see it. You know what I mean? Without me pushing any narrative. I literally show them a video where it's two groups and they're just talking to each other. It's like the Israeli Palestinians, they're literally just having a discussion. They're disagreeing and they're debating. It's like 10 minutes. I show them that and everybody's on the Palestinian side. So one of the things, man.
It's very, very, very clear what's happening. And now you have social media. Everybody's now getting, you know, more knowledge and understanding. This is happening for years. It's not getting better. So as long as people are aware of it, and now it come to a point where something has to happen, right? I mean, because every year there's an uprising or something goes on, and then people go out and protest, and then it quiets down, you know. But now it's like enough is enough, right? Just like what's happening in the U.S., you know, with the, you know, with that brother that got killed, you know, from the police officer and all that, and all the events that happened prior. You know, it's like it's oppression. We're all going through that oppression, right? Because of who you are and your culture and your race or whatever, you're being penalized for it and you're being labeled, and it's the same situation. You know what I mean? Very similar situation. So now people are stepping up. They're starting to talk. They're starting to, you know, speak truth. So hopefully there is something that does change, you know, from it all.
I'm definitely hoping that. You know what it is about, you know what it was? Because I never knew why I was drawn in, you know, that whole issue over there in Israel and Palestine. Because I'm working in the mall at the shoe store, and this girl named Fatima, like, we were just shopping and chilling. And I don't know what I said, or I don't know what something was said or something. And all of a sudden she got real serious. She was like, you have no idea what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, what the talking about? So I went and started Googling, looking it up, and like you said, it's clear as day. So I was like, well, that's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was way before I was teaching. So and I get to teach my students, or at least just show them, you know, what's going on. Because I'd like to tell them what happened there can happen here. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
It's the same. So it's a real thing. So I definitely respect your car putting it in their faces, man.
No, man, I appreciate it, and same likewise, you know. And it's good to have this connection, you know, where we're both kind of like doing the same thing in a way, in different regions of the world, which is nice. And I support all types of movements that are, you know, against any type of oppression or anything that's happening around the world like that. So, no, full respect, 100%. Yeah.
Man, I appreciate both of y'all. You know, I had all these questions written down, and y'all just answered them naturally in your conversations. I don't got to ask anything. You made it really easy for me. Nice. So I appreciate y'all. And I hope after the virus is over, I hope we can get y'all's cars to meet in person one day. That'd be beautiful.
Oh, that'll be dope, man. Yeah, that'll be really nice. We'll go for a roll. We go swang lane to lane.
So I just want to say again, I appreciate y'all, and just to let you know about the timeline of this, the people who run the magazine, they said they wanted to have it all wrapped up by the end of this month. I think it's going to take a little bit longer, but again, I will definitely keep y'all both in the loop on the release timeline. Apparently, this is also something that's going to be a physical release. So, Ayman, I can mail you a copy, and David, I can make sure you get one too.
Nice.
When the time comes. So, yeah, so I'll just keep y'all updated on that. And this was just a beautiful conversation. I appreciate you both so much and what you do, and I'll keep you updated.
Respect, brother.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Take care, guys. Nice meeting you. Take care.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace.
Take care, brother.
Wow, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Palestine in America podcast. Hope you enjoyed that conversation between David and Eamon. I know I did. I was geeked the whole time. I couldn't believe it was happening. And as you heard from Eamon, the way the story ends with that car is not so nice. You know, both he and David have definitely been, you know, kind of targeted and profiled by police. And the difference is that David can close his trunk whenever he wants, but Eamon, you know, he felt like, it's really sad, he felt like he had to take the text off of his car because like the police were giving him trouble. And even after he took the text off of his car, he's still getting harassed by the police. If you go to Eamon's Instagram page, cartrends.ca, I think, trends with a Z, he posted like a whole video documenting like the years of like harassment that the Edmonton police have given him. And it's so silly. Like, it doesn't need to be like this. This guy has a passion for building custom cars. He's not hurting anyone. He's meeting all like the emission standards or whatever. Like, why is this a problem? We know why it's a problem, obviously. But anyway, I hope one day we can live in a world where, well, first of all, I hope we can live in a world where Palestine is free, so that Eamon doesn't feel like he needs to put that message on his car. Like, maybe we can live in a world where he can flip it around and put it backwards, and his car can say Palestine is free, something like that. That's the world I want to live in, and a world where police don't murder Black people would be nice. Also, so anyway, thank you for tuning in. Palestine in America podcast. This is part of the Music Edition 2020. I'm your guest editor, Samantha Shrawi. Catch you next time.